Many feared dead in fresh suspected herdsman attack on Benue community. Nigerian Army injects 6,195 fresh combatants to boost national security. Gombe Permanent Secretary, 4 others die from electrocution. The toll in South African floods rises to 86. Good evening and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us. A yet-to-be-identified number of people are found dead following another attack by suspected herdsmen in a Benue community. Reports say the suspected herdsmen on Friday attacked Ilwata, a Benue border town with Nasarawa State. The chairman of Guma local government area in Benue State, Maurice, confirmed the attack. According to him, many have been killed while more than 26 people have been hospitalized. Speaking after visiting the scenes of the attack on Saturday, the chairman accused herdsmen of attacking his people unprovoked following an early attempt to attack Daudu town before the military halted the attack. According to Morris, the herdsmen then moved towards Yolwata at about 11:30 p.m. to attack the community, where over 100 herdsmen opened fire on the community, where only 4 soldiers were posted. While he's unable to confirm the actual casualty figures, the chairman called for increased surveillance in the area to protect his people. The Chief of Army Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede, says no fewer than 6,195 new soldiers have been injected into the army to help in the fight against terrorism. General Oluyede stated this during the passing out parade of the soldiers after 6 months of intensive military training at Depot Nigerian Army Zaria this Saturday. The report.
Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, who was also the reviewing officer at the 88 regular recruit intake passing out parade in Zaria, tasked the new soldiers to exhibit courage and professionalism in the face of adversity. He restated the commitment of Nigerian Army toward ensuring that soldiers have the necessary tools to execute their task smoothly.
The challenges we're facing in the field. So I'm very happy today that we're passed out on that set of soldiers. And I believe the training they got here, they're going to do well in the field. So we're hoping to deploy them as soon as possible. And we expect that with their deployment, we'll have some better secured theaters.
He added that welfare remained his topmost priority as expounded in his command philosophy. The Chief of Army Staff stated that the duties of Nigerian Army have traditionally extended beyond the national borders because the Army had played significant role in ensuring peace and security in the West African sub-region, the African continent, and other parts of the world. He therefore stated that the new soldiers have become stakeholders to the noble mandate and are now part of an age-long tradition in the midst of a long line of brave men and women that are ready to give their best to upholding this mandate. Lieutenant General Oluyede tasked the new soldiers to take their rightful place in the profession and be aware that they will form part of the nation's solution to the challenges of terrorism and insurgency.
I'm sure you listened to my address to them, where I charged them to be disciplined, resilient, purposeful, and that they need to know that they are soldiers. And when I was rounding up, I made them to realize that the field is actually challenging, but very adventurous. So we expect to be there in the field. We expect them to do their very best.
He advised them to reflect their training wherever they are deployed to and exhibit a high sense of discipline, professionalism, and perseverance to enable them succeed. The Chief of Army Staff further tasked the new soldiers to express the core values of Nigerian Army, such as trustworthy and commitment to excellence, determination, and selfless service. From Zaria, I am Abubakar Sadiq Mohammed reporting for Trust TV News. Lieutenant
Still in Kaduna State, the police command said it has arrested no fewer than 180 suspects and recovered arms, ammunition and illicit drugs in an ongoing clampdown on criminal elements across the state. The operation, according to the police public relations officer, DSP Mr. Hassan, was carried out between June 9 and 13 in multiple raids on black spots and criminal hideouts in parts of the state. In a statement, DSP Hassan said the operation ordered by the Commissioner of Police, Rabi Muhammad, was aimed at restoring public confidence and tackling insecurity. He also said the raids took place in densely populated and vulnerable areas such as Rigasa, Kau, Tudunwada and Sabun Tasha, resulting in the recovery of 30 bags containing about 1,600 wraps of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp, as well as dangerous weapons. The presidency has described as fake news reports that President Bola Tinubu has awarded the national honors to human rights activist Aisha Yusufu and 30 others. Yusufu is known especially for her strategic role during the 2020 EndSARS national protest. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Temitope Ajayi, dismissed the reports in a statement on Friday. He further clarified that the presidency has not issued fresh names for national honor different from the ones in President Tinubu's address to the joint sitting of the National Assembly. A circulating document on social media listing 102 names had gone viral, stirring heated debates, especially among supporters of the Tinubu administration. Yusufu has been a well-known critic of the Tinubu government. Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has urged President Bola Tinubu to immediately launch a probe into the strange circumstances that led to the deaths of some Nigerians, including the likes of Dele Giwa, Bola Ige and Kudirat Abiola, for the sake of giving some closure to the matter. While speaking with selected journalists in Lagos on Saturday, the renowned author said some Nigerians around the world could provide clues to the killings. Soyinka has been speaking on the occasion of Nigeria's Democracy Day, which was marked on June 12, 2025, where President Tinubu addressed the joint session of the National Assembly and awarded national honors to some of the heroes of the struggle. While he praised the national honors, he, however, said there were several omissions of heroes on the list, adding that he believed the honored participants were a representation of the rest of the people in the struggle. Soyinka revealed that he will be dedicating his honors to the memory of late Beko Razon Kuti, whom he described as a defender of human rights, champion of good governance and campaigner for democracy, who was detained and jailed several times by the Nigerian military. He warned that no one should make light of the weight and importance of the June 12 struggle, as many people died and many others were greatly injured by the military junta, which killed, tortured and imprisoned Nigerians at the time. An electrical surge in the Tudunwada Pantami area of Gombe metropolis on Saturday morning claimed the lives of 5 people and left 13 others injured. According to the Gombe State Police Command, the state's Permanent Secretary, Special Duties and Regional Coordination, Abdullahi Kulani, was among those 5 reportedly affected by the electrocution. The incident, which authorities said was caused by a voltage surge from a nearby transformer, occurred just after dawn and caught residents unawares. Confirming the incident, the spokesperson of the Gombe State Police Command, DSP Buhari Abdullahi, said officers from the low-cost divisional police headquarters swiftly responded to the distress call. According to police, the deceased have been deposited in 3 different morgues, while the injured victims are currently receiving treatment at several health facilities across the state. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, in its weather outlook released on Friday in Abuja, has predicted early morning thunderstorms accompanied by rain starting from Saturday to Monday across Nigeria. Early morning thunderstorms are expected over parts of Taraba, Kebbi, Zamfara, Kaduna and Adamawa states in the northern region. Thunderstorms with rain are anticipated over parts of Kebbi, Taraba, Zamfara, Borno, Kaduna, Sokoto, Gombe and Bauchi states later in the day. NIMET predicted thunderstorms with rain over parts of Taraba, Adamawa, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Zamfara, Gombe, Kaduna and Bauchi states later in the day. In the north-central region, the agency forecasts patches of clouds with sunshine intervals along with prospects of thunderstorms and rain over parts of the Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, Benue, Kogi and Niger states. According to NIMET, thunderstorms are expected over parts of Kwara, Plateau, Nasarawa, Niger, Benue, and Kogi states in the afternoon or evening hours. It warned the public to take adequate precautions as strong winds may precede the rains in areas where thunderstorms are likely to occur. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Gbetokun, has approved an extension of the grace period for the enforcement of tinted glass permit to the August 12, 2025. The extension comes on the heels of several concerns and feedback expressed by members of the public regarding the reactivation of the digital tinted glass permit application process. First Public Relations Officer Lumuyiwa Adejobi said the extension was in line with the commitment of the police delivering transparent, inclusive, and citizen-focused policing. He affirmed that the Nigerian police did not ignore the voices of Nigerians, adding that these voices have been instrumental in guiding ongoing reviews of the process to ensure it remains user-friendly, secure, and accessible to all. The Joint House of Representatives Committee on Public Account and Public Assets have invited the Minister of Finance, Wale Edu, and the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Governor Layemi Cardoso to appear before it on Monday, June 16, 2025, over allegations of non-compliance with the provisions of Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007. The top government officials are also expected to answer questions on the internal control weaknesses identified in the 2021 reports by the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation. In a letter signed jointly by the Chairman, House Committee on Public Accounts, Bamidele Salam, and Chairman Committee on Public Assets, Ademo Rikuyi, on Saturday, the committee asked the Finance Minister and CBN Governor to provide details on remittance of operating surplus to the Federation account by the Apex Bank in line with the provisions of relevant laws and regulations. Recall that the Fiscal Responsibility Commission and the Auditor General for the Federation have submitted reports alleging that several ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government, including CBN, have failed to remit or under-remitted their operating surpluses as required by extant financial laws and regulations in the past 6 years. According to the Public Accounts Committee Chairman, these violations have negatively impacted the liquidity of the federal government and constitute a hindrance to effective implementation of the budgets passed by Parliament. The committee said it had given both the Finance Ministry and the Apex Bank adequate time to reconcile their accounts and present their positions in order to determine the degree of financial liabilities involved, hence the need for a final hearing to resolve the issues. Kaduna State Governor Senator Obasani has officially presented a first-class staff of office to the newly installed Chief of Mura, Isiaku Tagwai Sambo, in Kaura local government area of the state. Speaking at the coronation ceremony, Governor Sani described the traditional rulers as critical stakeholders in governance, saying they serve as custodians of peace, drivers of grassroots mobilization, and key partners in policy implementation. He said his administration remains committed to supporting traditional institutions, which he noted play an integral role in promoting unity and development across communities. Governor Sani further called on the people of Kaduna State to live peacefully with one another, urging traditional leaders to continue guiding their subjects towards harmony, tolerance, and collective progress. The event, which drew dignitaries from across the state and beyond, came after the demise of the former Chief of Mura, Malam Tagwai, who died on June 14, 2024, at the age of 88 after ruling for 58 years. In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has temporarily suspended the payment of dividends, executive bonuses, and foreign investments by banks currently under regulatory forbearance. This is part of a strategy to reinforce financial discipline and protect the stability of the banking sector. The directive affects only those banks that are receiving temporary regulatory relief, commonly referred to as regulatory forbearance, a mechanism through which the CBN provides special support to institutions signaling financial stress or failing to meet key prudential standards. These banks, according to the Apex Bank, must focus squarely on stabilizing their operations and restoring financial health before engaging in profit distribution or expansionary ventures. The regulator explained that the restrictions specifically apply to banks currently benefiting from forbearance in relation to credit exposures and breaches of the single obligor limit, conditions that signal potential distress in the affected institutions. Until these banks are able to meet capital adequacy requirements and demonstrate full compliance, they are barred from issuing dividends to stakeholders, awarding bonuses to directors and senior management, or initiating new investments in foreign subsidiaries or offshore ventures. Away from Nigeria, rescue teams on Saturday recovered more victims of heavy flooding that struck South Africa's Eastern Cape province earlier in the week, with the death toll rising to at least 86. President Cyril Ramaphosa visited the poverty-stricken province on Friday and said the catastrophic disaster was due to climate change. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu said on Saturday he had received news of the overall figure in the province rising to 86. Ramaphosa estimated the flood waters had reached more than 4 meters, that is 13 feet high, above heavy rains and strong winds battered the Eastern Cape. Thousands of houses, roads, schools and health facilities were left caked in mud after being completely submerged in flood waters. The area was hit by the floods and subsequent landslides was the city of Tata, about 800 kilometers south of Johannesburg. And in sports, the Serie A giants Juventus have reignited their interest in Nepalese striker Victor Osimhen. The Bicaneri contacted Osimhen's representatives earlier in the summer but failed to get a positive response. Juventus are now prepared to push again for the Nigerian international, according to Sky Sport Italia transfer expert Gianluca Di Marzio. The 26-year-old has a €75 million release in his contract, which is valid for clubs outside Italy. The powerful striker has already rejected a lucrative proposal from Saudi club Al Hilal. Napoli's demand and the forward's wage demands could be an obstacle for Juventus. Osimhen impressed during his loan spell with Galatasaray last season, helping the club win the Turkish Super League title and Turkish Cup. That concludes the news updates at this time. For more of our news, programs and documentaries, follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us at this time. Good evening.